Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Fellowship of San Miguel de Allende. I'm the Reverend Rosiello, Minister of the Fellowship, and whether you're visiting for the first time, a new member, or one who's been coming for decades, we are so glad that you are here, especially if you're new to this fellowship. We want you to know, no matter your nationality, your race, your gender identity, your sexual orientation, no matter your age, economic status, your level of ableism, your theological beliefs, your religious affiliation or lack thereof, yes, even your political affiliation. No matter in what language you are most comfortable speaking, you are welcome here as you are. It's such a joy to have guests this morning, the dancers from the Ballet Folklórico, and I'd like to ask Francois now to introduce them and to tell you a little bit about an opportunity to see them perform. Yes.
Thank you. The two dancers you saw are Yaeli and Marie-José. They are part of the adult group of the ballet. The ballet now has 45 members, almost 50 dancers, and they are 4 different groups. They will be dancing on the 30th at Casa Europa, and I'll have some tickets for you. And I also want to pay tribute to the maestra who founded the ballet some 50 years ago. So next year we'll be celebrating 50 years ago. This is Gloria Navarrete. So thank you, Gloria.
It's wonderful to bring a bit of the rich Mexican culture into our service today with these dancers, and also with Mauro Ledesma sharing the music of Mexican composers with us this morning. Mauro will be conducting the Day of the Dead Requiem concert again this year with choir and full orchestra with 2 performances on November 2nd. There's information in your order of service and on the table over there, and he will also be there with tickets and more information about that as well. Are there any guests here with us this morning? Would you, if you're willing to stand, we just recognize you and thank you for being here. Please, everyone, join us for coffee hour afterwards, and please reach out to our guests and greet them personally. And also, especially introduce yourselves and welcome the new members who we'll bring into the flock, shall you say, a little later in the service. And if you're on Zoom and you're visiting with us, please type your name into chat and where you're from. And after the service, others on chat can get to know you and greet you and welcome you as well. Last but certainly not least, I'd like to welcome the Reverend Tania Marquez back to our pulpit. I could tell you so many wonderful things about her. She's a gifted chaplain, a spiritual director, a preacher, who's now serving on the staff of the Pacific Western region of the UUA. Most of all, she has been a wonderful friend to this congregation, and me too, and has helped us to grow into being a more multilingual, multicultural congregation. So, Tania, we're so glad to have you with us again. Please know that we record our services, so if you'd like to share this one with a friend, you can do that, or view ones that you've missed, just go to our website and you can follow the link to do that. And there are also listed on the website activities you can participate in, either in person or by Zoom during the week, including the Thursday afternoon lunch and games and the Tuesday morning Zoom coffee hour with me. Finally, I hope you have all marked on your calendar the date of November 12th for our fun, that's F-U-N, raising event, but it's also a F-U-N-D raising event. It's our auction with great food, truly great entertainment, and great items to bid on. If you don't have a ticket, the auction table is over here. You can see a display, photographs of the items, and you can even bid this morning. there's a notebook over there for you to bid. So you can also bid online. So bid often and high, and check out everything on the table. We have more than 100 items. By the way, there'll be a few surprises of wonderful things that aren't in the catalog, but will only be there if you come live to the auction. Great. And now, to open our service, I'd like to invite Tania to our pulpit, the Reverend Tania Marquez.
Good morning, buenos dias.
Buenos dias.
It's a joy to be here with you here today. Chalice lighting words are by Maureen Killeran. Nuestras palabras para el encendido del cáliz el día de hoy son de Maureen Killeran. In these hard times, let us look first to the response of love. En estos tiempos difíciles, veamos primero a la respuesta del amor. In the midst of challenge, may our chalice flame bear witness to the inherent worth and dignity of every human being. En medio de los desafíos, que la llama de nuestro cáliz sea testiga del valor y la dignidad innata de cada ser humano. In the midst of uncertainty, may our chalice be a beacon of encouragement that our values may guide our choices. En medio de la incertidumbre, que nuestro cáliz sea un faro que nos avive a vivir y a ser guiados por nuestros valores. Let us look first to the response of love. Veamos primero a la respuesta del amor. And let us join our voices together. That's you, Tom.
Let us now join our voices together, led by Lauren, here from the pulpit. It's hymn 188, but the words will be on the screen, and they're in your order of service. Come, come, whomever you are. I invite you to remain seated so you can see the words better. Oh, I guess they're in their order in your order of service, so you can stand as well. And Lauren, please lead us in this.
español. Nice Spanish lesson, guys.
Gracias. Please remain standing for our covenant. I'd like to bring, I think we have both Jerome and Sebastian here, if they would like to come forward and lead us in our covenant. Sebastian, where are you? Oh, come on. Who's doing English? Come on. Yeah. Jerome, okay.
We respect the independent web of life and work for a just and peaceful world. We encourage the search for truth and meaning, strive for compassion in our relationships, and seek values that will benefit our lives and the lives of others. This is our covenant.
Respetamos todos los estilos de vida dentro de su red interdependiente y trabajamos por un mundo justo y pacífico. Alentamos la búsqueda de la verdad y la comprensión total. Nos esforzamos por mantener compasión en nuestras relaciones y buscamos valores que beneficien nuestras vidas y las vidas de los demás. Este es nuestro convenio.
You may be seated. This fellowship is a caring community. If you need pastoral care or other assistance from a minister, please do not hesitate to contact me. Please email me and we can set up a time to talk. You should also know that our care team is available to be of assistance too. The contact information for both are on the website UUFSMA.org. As a caring community, we are ready to be there for each other in good times and in bad. We set aside this time in our service to share significant joys, sorrows, and concerns of our members and friends. As we share each one, we light a candle, indicating that that person, that thought, that prayer is held in all of our hearts this morning. If you would like a joy, sorrow, or concern shared in a future service, please email it to me. Or if you're going to be at the service, as many have this morning, you can write it on a card when you enter. If you're on Zoom and wish to share, you may do so by typing your joy, sorrow, or concern into the chat now. We're going to begin with a double joy for Miguel, our own Miguel Ángel, our wonderful technical staff member. First, it's so good to see him back. He's recovering well from vascular surgery, so... And second, Tuesday is his birthday, so feliz cumpleaños, Miguel Ángel. We light a candle for Bill Dulcimer, who I believe is with us via Zoom and would love to be here this morning, except he's connected to an IV pole receiving antibiotics for a couple of days. So we wish him a speedy recovery. Ann Kufner adds a concern that she would like us to light a candle for her younger sister's ongoing health issues, which are the result of her past bouts with cancer. Ann also adds a joy for having spent 5 days of quality time visiting her sister near Ann Arbor, Michigan this last week, where the autumn colors were glorious, and also where she saw a thriving city of Detroit. So, right there. Okay. From Cornelia, we light a candle for her dear friend Anne, who hosted Susan, her dear friend and host Susan, who passed away last week. And Susan had accompanied her many times here to the UU service. I remember her. May she rest in peace. From Cynthia Sterling, who has children in both the Asheville area and in Tennessee, she asks us to please send healing prayers to the hurricane victims in those two areas. One of her sons is a rescue worker there, and she wants us to know that the death toll is much higher than we first heard, and the suffering of without potable water and housing and so forth is just extreme. Joy for sure. Bob and Diane are so glad that they're finally back to be here with us, and we're glad to see them. Okay. Our concerns are not only for our own community, but for those things well beyond. And we light our blue and yellow candle for those killed, injured, displaced, still suffering because of the unjust and unprovoked war in Ukraine. And we light our other large candle for the people of the Middle East. We hold all those killed, injured, displaced, held hostage, those who are grieving the loss of family members and friends in our hearts. We pray for a ceasefire, a prompt delivery of food and humanitarian aid to those who desperately need it, and the release of all hostages, and for a path to a lasting peace where the equal worth and dignity of every human being is recognized. Yes?
I forgot to make a card. I would like to light a candle. Joy Joan Wolf is going to rejoin us on Wednesday, and she'll be here for 6 months, and she's doing really well.
Okay. I think I got them all. Diego? None? Okay. Let's light a final candle for all those joys, sorrows, and concerns held deep in our hearts this morning, but which remain unspoken. We resolve to address the challenges of our own lives honestly and openly, and to support, comfort, and assist all those others who need our help in this time. And now, as we go into a time of reflection and meditation, guided by music, those of you who would like to light a candle, perhaps for whatever is most on your mind this morning, be it person or prayer, you may do so. At least once a year, we formally welcome and recognize folks who have joined the fellowship. To become a member, you do not have to swear allegiance to a particular creed or set of beliefs. Joining is an indication that you are in sympathy with the values and principles of this liberal faith tradition, that you will support the mission and activities of this fellowship, and that you wish to be involved in this community. When one becomes a UU, you're not asked to give up your beliefs or even change your beliefs, but to bring them here with you to enrich the fabric of our community, and with the support of others to travel on your own spiritual path. In most UU churches and fellowships, you sign a membership book to officially become a member. With COVID and the need to do everything remotely, we stopped that part of the practice. But I'm happy to say that today we've located the book and we will resume the practice with our new members who are here today. To assist with this new member ceremony, I'd like to ask Susan, our acting chair of membership, Mary Lou, a member of the committee, and Arlene, who is our VP acting president, to join me up front. Today we are honored to recognize 18 new or returning members. We have listed them in the order of service, but as we've been changing our computer system, it's possible we've missed someone. So anyone who's been coming for a while, agrees with the principles and values we espouse, and pledges to support the work of this fellowship is welcome to participate and come forward as well. For those members that are here today, new members, who are willing to come forward and be recognized, I invite you to come forward now. Please bring your order of service with you. And first, Susan will assist you in signing the membership book, and then I will give you a microphone so you can briefly introduce yourself. Just your name, make a sentence about where you're from, and if you're new to Unitarian Universalism or have belonged to a congregation previously. And then please form a line in front of the pulpit. Let's see. Diego, I need the other mic. Sí, gracias. Okay. Susan? Sofía? Okay, Pam, come right over here. Come over. Okay. Okay. Would you introduce yourself and just your name and where you're from?
Okay. My name is Pamela Silva. I live in Central. I moved here about a year ago from Fort Worth, Texas.
Thank you. And just if you can just stay right here. Great. That's great. Stay right there. Yeah. Mary, would you introduce yourself?
I will.
Hold it close.
I'm not much of a public speaker. Closer. Mary LaCroix, my husband Jim and I are here from Taos, New Mexico, and appreciate all your warmth, and we feel so welcome and comfortable here. So, first time with the UU Fellowship, and it feels good. I'm not a person who is an in-the-box person, and I really feel comfortable here because I can branch out however I think. So thank you so much.
Hello, my name is Jim LaCroix, and I'm very pleased to be here and to meet y'all, and glad to be a new member. And
Great, Jim. Could you guys just stay right up here, please? Okay, Sofia, would you introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Sofía. I'm Mexican. I'm from San Miguel de Allende. I was born here, and I'm very grateful to join the fellowship with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Now I know why it takes so long to sign. You have to write your name and then you have to sign it. My name is Laura Nosornio. I have lived in San Miguel for 14 years, so I consider myself a San Miguelense, previously from Boston.
See, a neighbor of mine. Would you lead them? Please open your service.
Yes, if our new members will join where you see new member affirmation. We join, ready? Together. We join this Unitarian Universalist fellowship as an affirmation of our willingness to participate in and support a religious organization whose members are dedicated to the quest for truth, freedom, and justice. We seek to understand and fulfill our potential by leading lives of integrity and service to others. We willingly join you in the continuing creation of this beloved community. Mary Lou will lead you in Spanish, for those of you who would like to.
Nos unimos a esta comunidad unitaria universalista como una afirmación de nuestra voluntad de participar y apoyar a una organización religiosa cuyos miembros están dedicados a la búsqueda de la verdad, la libertad y la justicia. Buscamos entender y realizar nuestro potencial llevando vidas de integridad y servicio a otros. Nos unimos voluntariamente a ustedes en la creación continua de esta amada comunidad.
Customary for the minister of the congregation to give a charge. Let me say on behalf of all the congregation, we're so glad to have you as part of this fellowship. There are so many opportunities to be involved in, to find community, to meet your spiritual needs, to learn, to have fun, to serve others, to work for justice. And know that the ministry and the programs of this congregation are here for you. Joining this fellowship is entering into a new relationship. And like any positive relationship, it's a two-way street. This fellowship has a lot to give you, but also you bring something special to us. We're enriched by your presence here. So I charge you to explore, to find what interests you, supports you, gives meaning to your life. You can get involved to the degree that you wish. But I think the truest thing I can tell you about membership in any fellowship or church is what you get out of a fellowship or a church is always in proportion to what you put into it. Welcome to this new relationship in your life and in the life of the fellowship. May it be rich and productive for both of us. Thank you. You may be seated. Sorry.
Now we'll invite our congregation to respond where you see response. I hope this is, there we go. I have to turn it the right way. We will respond to our new members. This is what we would like to say to them. Our community is blessed by your presence. May it be for you and for all a cradle for new dreams, a workshop of our common endeavor, and a home for spiritual growth and human understanding.
Nuestra comunidad está bendecida por su presencia. Que sea para ustedes y para todos una cuna para nuevos sueños, un taller de nuestro esfuerzo común y un hogar para el crecimiento espiritual y la comprensión humana.
Thank you so much. And now you can return.
A fragment of On Love by Khalil Gibran. All these things shall love do unto you, that you may know the secrets of your heart, and in that knowledge become a fragment of life's heart. But if in your heart you would seek only love's peace and love's pleasure, then it is better for you that you cover your nakedness and pass out on love's threshing floor into the seasonless world where you shall laugh, but not all of your laughter, and weep, but not all of your tears. Love gives not but itself and takes not but from itself. Love possesses not, nor would it be possessed, for love is sufficient unto love. When you love, you should not say, God is in my heart, but rather, I am in the heart of God. And think not you can direct the course of love, for love, if it finds you worthy, directs your course. Love has no other desire but to fulfill itself. But if you love, el más needs have desires. Let these be your desires. To melt and be like a running brook that sings its melody to the night. To know the pain of too much tenderness. To be wounded by your own understanding of love and to bleed willingly and joyfully. To wake at dawn with a willing heart and give thanks for another day of loving. To rest at noon hour and meditate love's ecstasy. To return home at eventide with gratitude. And then to sleep with a prayer for the beloved in your heart and a song of praise upon your lips. So that you can see the lyrics on the screen, please remain seated as we join our voices together for our next hymn, Spirit of Life, Fuente de Amor.
Sing in my heart.
In 2015, while I was in seminary, I met for the first time with the supervisor of the clinical pastoral education or chaplaincy training program I had just enrolled in at the hospital where I worked for the last 3 years. And I remember just being in the office, being introduced to the department, the things that happened there. And then all of a sudden, this little older lady comes into the office. And I'm sure that I was introduced to her. I'm sure that there was some sort of conversation that I don't remember. But what I do remember is that I saw her and I was like, oh my gosh, I want to be like her. And I had no idea why. But there was just something about her presence that drew my attention. And then, of course, later on, I got to meet her. And someone also from my cohort described her as a little walking light. Now, this person was Sister Carmen, a Catholic nun that volunteered at the hospital once a week, bringing communion to Catholic patients and to staff members. She's very loved by everyone. And over the course of time, I paid attention. I really wanted to know what was that about her? What made her so special? She had the gift, she still has the gift, and the ability to make every single person she encounters feel special, heard, seen, valued. She genuinely cares about people. She has embodied love, and one just needs to be near her to recognize it. But she is the embodiment of love. And you probably met someone in your life that way, that they just walk through life as the embodiment of love. Our Unitarian Universalist movement has steered in the direction of love as part of a vision for a liberated world. The revision to Article 2 reads, the Unitarian Universalist Association will actively engage its members in the transformation of the world through liberating love. And it says, love is the power that holds us together and is at the center of our shared values. We are accountable to one another for doing the work of living our shared values through the spiritual discipline of love. The spiritual discipline of love. How do you love? How do you understand love? And where does your understanding of love come from? I invite you to hold these questions gently for a few seconds and simply notice what they evoke in you. I typed the word love into the Google search bar and received 24.89 billion results. Don't worry, I didn't read them all. I tried. I searched books about love, and Google said there were 5.8 billion results. So love is of great concern to humans. Philosophers, theologians, psychologists have concerned themselves with love. And in one way or another, they all point to the multidimensionality of love. Some have created a typology of love, others a kind of hierarchy, some model to explain the interactions of elements that create different types of love. And I'm sure that you have come across some of them. And this reflection is guided by some of those non-thinkers and masters. Their concerns guiding my own, and now entering into conversation with your own concerns about love. So late Zen master Thich Nhat Hanh has a little book. It's really a pocket book called How to Love in it. Any of you have read it? Yeah, we have one. It's a tiny book, but so wonderful, so precious. And in it, he describes the 4 elements of love and many other aspects of love. But I want to share with you those 4 elements with you that he describes more also in detail in a video. And the words for each of the elements come from the Sanskrit, but he offers a functional, although probably not a comprehensive translation of each word. And the first element he tells us is maitri, loving kindness, maitri. By loving you, you still retain your freedom. You maintain your freedom and you help the other person maintain their freedom. You have cultivated understanding. You spend time with this other person over time, and you discover their everyday needs, their challenges, etc. This is true of the loving kindness we can offer ourselves. That's the first element. The second element is karuna, compassion. And this is the capacity to understand the suffering. He says, you are like a doctor. You don't have to suffer with the other person, but you help them not to suffer and help transform the other person's suffering. You don't have to suffer. You understand, and your capacity to understand helps the other person. So compassion is the second element. The third element is mudita, sympathetic joy. And the joy that is shared by both of you. Being able to offer joy in your relationship. Your presence brings joy to the other person. Just think about when you come here on Sundays and you see someone like, oh, I'm so glad they're here. You just offer your joys for the presence of people coming back, of being here in this community. That is the sympathetic joy. Just knowing that someone's right there with you in your presence brings you joy. And you also bring that joy to the people that love you and that care about you. And the fourth element is upeksha, equanimity. And that means non-discrimination. And he says that's the higher form of love. You love the person not because of race, skin, color, or similar spiritual path, but because that person suffers and needs your love. This is what he calls the path of non-discrimination. So given these four elements of love, I invite you to reflect, what gets in the way of love? What gets in your way of love and being loving? In the workshop of love, which is where we are, as apprentices of love and of loving, our learning involves the continuous practice of this kind of liberating love. In the worship of love, we look up to those who know love better than us, and also to the other forms of love alive in every person that we encounter. Each of us is already an embodiment of love, whether we believe it or not. But how do we embody a love that is liberating, that is expansive? Bell Hooks names fear as one of the obstacles that gets in the way of love. I don't know if it's fear what may get in your way of love. But she says, cultures of domination rely on the cultivation of fear as a way to ensure obedience. In our society, we make much of love and say little about fear. Yet we are all terribly afraid most of the time. As a culture, we are obsessed with the notion of safety, yet we do not question why we live in states of extreme anxiety and dread. Fear is the primary force upholding structures of domination. It promotes the desire for separation, the desire not to be known. Fear moves us to hide, to run away, to seek enclosure so that we can keep ourselves and our hearts protected. And Lao Tzu, a Chinese philosopher of the 6th century, wrote, "Being loved by someone gives you strength. Loving someone gives you courage." So love, then, can be an antidote of fear. If we love others and we see how their suffering is being created or perpetrated by our actions, by the actions of others, or by systems, we will feel moved to fight against those oppressions. So I invite you to imagine a community or a society that is led by a love ethic. And what I mean by that is by care, commitment, trust, responsibility, respect, and knowledge. By upeksha, by non-discrimination. What would that feel like? What actions will you associate with that kind of love? What would it mean to love someone not because you think they are deserving of your love, but because you understand that they are suffering and that they need love? It is true that love calls us to stretch ourselves beyond our areas of comfort, but it's not all of our doing. As our reading reminded us, if love finds us worthy, love will guide us. Our job is to accept the invitation and to remain open to its teachings. And Thomas Merton says that love is a certain special way of being alive. A certain special way of being alive. And it's about embodiment, about making love tangible and visible. At the center is this need and desire to understand ourselves and others with compassion and to live my life embodying this into my actions, into my words, and my willingness to step into unknown terrain. And there's no monopoly of love. No one person or group of people that can fully contain what love is and how it is expressed. We are better served by trusting that every person, that every group, every community can teach us a different dimension of love. In fact, Thich Nhat Hanh tells the story of a friend who took him to the Atlanta airport. This was like back in the 70s or 80s. And the friend asked him if she could hug him. So he said, well, I'm a Zen master. It should be no problem to do that. So he said, why not? And then he explains that as she hugged him, he just pretty much just like stood there doing nothing, because it is not common in his culture and practice to be this expressive. So he went home reflecting about this and thought to himself, if I want to work with friends in the West, I would have to learn the culture of the West. Combining both East and West, he created the hugging meditation, bringing mindfulness into the act of a hug, inviting people to be fully present and grateful for the exchange. And while the hugging meditation is the core of his reflection in this story, to me, what is most salient is his intention to understand the other. His willingness to learn so that he could work with those that had different practices than his. So to embody something is to make it visible and tangible. Embodied love is maitri, loving kindness. It's a way of being in the world that seeks to offer the other freedom, of being interested in the well-being of the other. Embodied love starts and lives in the body. It guides it. It is lived through. It moves. It shapes us. It softens our faces so that people can trust us. And that's true. That's true. There's a lot of scientific evidence, right? That without you even thinking, is this person someone I can trust? Your nervous system is looking at the shape of their eyes and their faces to know if that person's someone that you can trust. Love does that. It's loosening up from a stiff position to a more relaxed, more fluid. It's leaning into the rhythm of the body and of life and not just moving frantically to meet the many demands that come our way. Embodied love is a return to curiosity and wonder and an openness to learning and growing. It is being open to make love new all the time. It's understanding that I can only know so much about love and that others hold wisdom about love that I am yet to discover. How will you make love your spiritual discipline? What areas of your life could use some watering of love? And as you reflect on our commitment to the spiritual discipline of love, it is important to remember that love is greater than our understanding of it. It will be good for us then to claim ourselves to be apprentices of love and of loving. That our desire to love is our desire to be participants in the workshop of love, giving shape to everything around us, approaching the teachings of love with a beginner's mind. This can keep us open and adaptable to the ways in which love desires to fulfill itself beyond the limitations that we might impose on it. If we understand ourselves to be learners of love, we can embody a love that seeks and listens, a love that understands or that seeks to understand. We will then have cried all of our tears and laughed all of our laughter. And you can start from here, from the love you already know how to give. Let it loose. Let it guide you. Let it grow. You have nothing to lose because love is inexhaustible. The more you give, the more you will have. And trust me, your heart is strong enough and large enough to hold it. Now I'm going to invite you to join us, to remain seated so you can see the lyrics on the screen as we sing our closing song, We Shall Be Known.
We shall be known by the company we keep, by the ones who circle around to tend these fires. We shall be known by the ones who sow and reap the seeds of change alive from deep within the earth. It is time.
You know, every week in our service, we take up an offering. This action is both practical and symbolic. Doing so is a spiritual exercise and a public expression of something we believe in. That is, that we all must do our part to keep this community thriving. We're now in our annual pledge campaign time, and we know how important making a truly generous pledge is. We know that it's primarily through member pledges that we build our budget and fund our ministry, our guest minister programs, our religious education, pay our staff, maintain our website, rent this beautiful space, make our services and many other activities available on Zoom and on our YouTube channel, and many more things. All those who are part of this community by Zoom are made to feel part of it by our outreach. As pledgers, we know that we could just submit those pledge checks to the fellowship at any convenient time. But still, we pass the basket during our worship service, and we make our donate button available for those who are on Zoom. We do so in order to draw the circle wider, so all who are with us and who are ministered to and affirmed by this community, who understand the importance of having a home here for liberal religion, can engage in the communal, spiritual practice of generosity. Even for those who pledge generously, the act of giving something during this service reminds us that generosity is one way that we express the love that is central to our faith tradition. Our offering says that the act of giving is essential to our spiritual well-being, as anything else we do on Sunday morning. The morning offering will now be given and received in the spirit of grateful fellowship. Thank you all for being with us today. Thank you, Tania, for your wonderful message. It's so great to have you back here with us. We all know that this is a very special week in San Miguel, and we've provided you the opportunity to sort of have a little sneak peek into some of the ways you could participate into that culture. So please be sure to see Mauro afterwards to get tickets or learn more about if you even want to have somebody remembered in the Requiem concert, how to do that. He'll be over at the table later. And also Francoise will be there for the Ballet Folklórico with tickets to that as well. We know that this is a culturally very significant time, and it's a blessing for us to be able to participate and support those things in the country that's so good at hosting us. Also, I want you to remember to go visit that long table over there and see many of the auction items. You can bid this morning. You can bid online. You can ask questions. We have a lot of great items. And please, if you don't have your tickets yet, please get a ticket to come. Half of your ticket price goes towards anything you bid on, and the entertainment alone is worth 3 times the ticket price that you're going for. So please be sure to do that as well. We end our service with what we call a benediction. What does benediction mean but good words? So I'm asked Tania if she would share some good words with us to take with us for the week.
I did remember that second verse, but too late, by the way. Let us marvel at the beauty of our coming together and the blessing that this gathering sends us off with again. Maravillémonos ante la belleza de nuestra reunión y a la bendición que el estar juntos con la que nos envía. The blessing of connection, inspiration, rest. La bendición de conexión, de inspiración, de descanso. The blessing of remembering. La bendición de recordar. Take with you the joy of this growing community as you welcomed new members. Llévense con ustedes la alegría de esta comunidad que crece al recibir a nuevos miembros. Let it kindle your heart, illuminate your path, and accompany you. Que encienda tu corazón, que ilumine tu camino y te acompañe. Let it renew your hope until we are together again. Que renueve tu esperanza hasta que nos volvamos a encontrar. May you feel blessed and held by a love beyond all understanding. Que se sientan bendecidos y sostenidos por un amor más allá de nuestro entendimiento. May it be so, que así sea.